In February 2026, the world watched as the United States and Israel launched a major military strike against Iran. Explosions were reported near key military installations, air defense systems were activated across the country, and tensions in the Middle East suddenly reached one of their most dangerous levels in years. Within hours, global markets reacted, governments issued emergency statements, and analysts began asking the same question: could this be the beginning of a much larger war? But events like this do not happen overnight. Major military strikes between powerful nations are usually the result of years, sometimes decades, of growing tension. To understand why the United States and Israel would take such a risky step, we need to go back and look at the long and complicated history that brought these countries to this moment. If you enjoy history and geopolitics explained in a clear and simple way, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It helps the channel grow and allows us to keep making more videos like this. The roots of today's conflict can be traced back to the Iranian Revolution of 1979. Before that moment, Iran was actually one of the United States' closest allies in the Middle East. The country was ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a monarch who maintained strong political and military ties with Washington and cooperated closely with Western governments. Iran purchased American weapons, hosted Western businesses, and was seen as a key partner in maintaining stability in the region. But in 1979, everything changed. A massive revolution overthrew the Shah and replaced his government with an Islamic republic led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The new leadership strongly opposed Western influence in the Middle East and viewed the United States as a symbol of foreign interference in Iranian affairs. This shift transformed Iran from a close American ally into one of Washington's most determined adversaries. Relations between the two countries deteriorated even further later that same year during the Iran hostage crisis. In November 1979, Iranian revolutionaries stormed the United States Embassy in Tehran and took dozens of American diplomats hostage. The hostages were held for 444 days, creating a national crisis in the United States and permanently damaging the relationship between the two countries. For Israel, the Iranian Revolution created an entirely different kind of concern. The new Iranian government openly opposed the existence of the Israeli state and began supporting armed groups that were hostile to Israel. Over time, Iran built a network of regional allies and militant organizations that allowed it to project influence far beyond its own borders. Two of the most significant of these groups were Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Both organizations have received support from Iran and have engaged in repeated conflicts with Israel over the years. This situation created what many analysts call a shadow war across the Middle East, a long series of indirect confrontations, proxy battles, and covert operations carried out by both sides. But one issue in particular has dominated the conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States for nearly 2 decades: Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists that its nuclear activities are designed for peaceful purposes, such as energy production and scientific research. However, Israel and many Western governments fear that the program could eventually allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. For Israel especially, the idea of a hostile regional power obtaining nuclear weapons is seen as an existential threat. In 2015, an international agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, often called the Iran Nuclear Deal, attempted to resolve this issue. Under the deal, Iran agreed to limit parts of its nuclear program and allow international inspections in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. For a few years, the agreement appeared to reduce tensions. But in 2018, the United States withdrew from the deal and reimposed economic sanctions on Iran. The collapse of the agreement led to a new period of hostility, with both sides accusing each other of violating international commitments. Since then, tensions have continued to rise. Israel has carried out a number of covert operations targeting Iranian military infrastructure and nuclear facilities, while Iran has increased its influence through allied groups across the Middle East. In recent years, attacks and counterattacks between Iranian forces, Israeli intelligence, and regional militias have become increasingly common. By the mid-2020s, many analysts believed the region was slowly moving toward a direct confrontation between Iran and Israel. The strike in February 2026 appears to be one of the most dramatic moments in this long rivalry. According to statements from both Washington and Jerusalem, the goal of the operation was to weaken Iran's military capabilities and prevent further development of its nuclear infrastructure. Leaders from both countries argued that the attack was necessary to prevent a future threat before it became impossible to control. Iran, however, sees the situation very differently. Iranian officials described the strikes as an act of aggression and promised retaliation. In the hours following the attacks, Iranian missile forces were placed on high alert and several retaliatory actions were reported across the region. This immediate escalation created fears that the conflict could quickly spread beyond Iran and Israel. The Middle East is already one of the most politically complex regions in the world, with multiple ongoing conflicts, rival alliances, and powerful global actors involved. For the United States, the situation is particularly delicate. Washington has long supported Israel as one of its closest allies in the region, while also maintaining military bases and strategic interests throughout the Middle East. Any major war involving Israel and Iran could quickly draw the United States into a much larger regional conflict. For now, the world is watching closely to see what happens next. The strike against Iran may have been intended to prevent a future crisis, but it has also increased the risk of a much larger confrontation. History has shown that conflicts in the Middle East rarely remain contained for long. What began as a limited military operation could either lead to renewed diplomatic negotiations or become the first step toward a wider and far more dangerous war. Only time will reveal which path the region will take. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more history and geopolitics explained in a clear and simple way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.